Alright, CNT125 Subnet Application Lab. I just got done completing the map up here. The only thing I did after I stopped that video was I did put my port numbers in here. So I did indicate on this router I'm going to use Fast Ethernet 00 here, and I did indicate I'm using Fast Ethernet 01 over here. On the 4221 router, I'm indicating I'm using the Gigabit 001 on this side and Gigabit 000 on this side. So that's one thing I might want to do before I'm done there. The other thing I did was I took a screenshot of this so I have it as a separate file here so I can keep referring to that map as I'm scrolling through the directions. That'll make it easier so I'm not having to jump around so much. Alright. The next thing I need to do is I do need to cable up my network. So I'm going to carefully follow my own map now with my ports going between my router and my switch. Straight through cable. Workstation, my first workstation into this switch. It can be any port because we're not going to do VLANs on this one. I need a crossover between my two routers. Again, pay attention to my port numbers. Crossover between the routers, pay attention to my port numbers. I'm going to use a straight through from this router to this switch. Again, doesn't matter which switch port, but I do need to make sure it's Gigabit 000. And then my other workstation, I'm just going to take the patch cable and plug it into the switch. Again, it does not matter the port number. So I've already done that on my setup. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect into my switch, and I'm going to do just a basic config. Just a basic config. This is a good reminder, refresher from last week. So I've opened up PuTTY. I've connected into my switch. It's asking, do I want to terminate auto install? Yes, I do. So I'm just going to hit the enter key. Do I want to use this initial configuration dialog? No, I do not. So I'm going to say no. Do you want to terminate auto install? I'm going to hit enter for yes. So I should get to my switch prompt now. All right. So I'm going to do enable, config T, configure terminal. Let's give this a host name. And if I look at my map, this is where I'm going to keep my map handy. I'm consoled into my top switch. So I'm going to use this name right here. So I'm going to say 2960. Oops. 2960, there we go, underscore, we're going to say top, underscore, SW for switch, and subnet. So it's kind of, it gives us a little bit of meaning, top switch and subnet lab. The next thing I'm going to do, let me get my other file handy. There's my host name. Let's put an IP address on VLAN 1, so interface VLAN 1, IP address. I'm going to look at my map. I need to look at my map here. 172.16.02 on my map. 172.16.02. 255.255.240.0. No shutdown. And that should come online. The other thing I need to do here is let's put in our enable secret password. So we'll do exit and we'll do enable secret class. Double check, make sure I have no errors. I'll do exit. I'll do a show run. And I'm going to double check. There's my name. I'm not doing any VLANs this time. Here's my IP. So I will do a copy, run, start. All right. When I'm done with this switch, I might also just cable right into the other switch and complete it, which I actually did already. So I have both of my switches done, but don't forget to move into the other switch and configure it. Follow your map. Follow your map with your number and your name here for the bottom switch. Once that's done, let's move into the router. So I'm going to move my console cable into, I'm going to do the 2811 router. That's my first one. So I got to find the console port on it. It's going to be on the back side. I might need to move my, reroute my console cable through the rack. But I've plugged into the 2011 router. And again, do I want to do initial configuration dialog? No. And I'm going to hit the enter key, let it boot a little bit more. Return to get started. So on this one, we're going to get a name, IP addresses, and OSPF. That's pretty much it. We're keeping this nice and simple. We're just making sure our subnets work. So enable, config T, host name on this guy. What do we call this guy? 2011 RTR subnet. So 2011 RTR subnet. There's my host name. After that, I want to do my two interfaces. So again, this is where having my map handy. I need these two interfaces. So I'm going to say interface, fast Ethernet 0/0. IP address on this guy. We have 172.16.01 on mine. 172.16.01. Subnet mask. We'll do a no shutdown. That'll bring that interface online. If I wait a second or two, I should see that pop up with some sort of indication that that is up, and it is. If I were to check my link light over there, I'll see it's on. I'll hit the enter key a time or two. Now I'm going to do the other interface. We'll do IP address on this one. This one is my 172.16.16.1. 172.16.16.1, followed by the subnet mask. .0. No shutdown. Now, remember, since this is connected to the other router, it's not going to come online yet. Once I configure the other router, this will come online. So I'll just hit the enter key a couple times for now. That's my two interfaces done. The next thing I need to do is I need to do my OSPF. Now, I'm going to need to remember a couple things on this one. So let's do router, OSPF, and I'm going to do 2 as my process ID. Okay. I need network, and I need my 3 subnets. I'm going to need my 3 subnets. I need this one, this one, this one. So I'm going to do 172.16.00 as my first subnet. I need the inverse mask. Well, my inverse is going to be 0, 0, some number, I'll put that in a second, .255. This some number is the inverse. And since we did 240, I need the inverse of 240. Well, I'm going to give you a quick tidbit here. If we, let's here is my, well, I got space here, I'll do it right here. My subnet mask is 255.255.240. The inverse is going to be 0.0. Some number .255. Well, the key is I need to figure out this 240. Well, here's 240. If I look at 240 in binary, I have this. The inverse is going to be, again, some number here. And the inverse is going to be this. 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That is going to be the inverse. And the key right here is we've borrowed to the 128.64.32.16 place. We borrowed to the 16 place. This number right here, actually we borrowed to the 16 place right there. This number right here is going to be 15. 1 less than this place. So if I borrow to the 16 place, my inverse is going to be 15. If I borrow to the 32 place, 1 less will be 31. If I borrow to the 64 place, 1 less will be 63. That's how I get my inverse mask quickly. So again, since I borrowed to the 16 place, the inverse here is 15. My inverse will be 15.255. So 15.255, area 0. I'm going to do up arrow, and I'm going to do my other subnets. Let me get my map back. I need 16.0 and 32.0. So I need 16.0, and I need 32.0. Those are my 3 networks. You'll want to make sure you have your 3 networks. Okay? So there's my OSPF table. I can do exit, and I can do enable secret class. And I should be done with my router. Okay? I will do a exit. I'll do a show run, and I'm going to verify my numbers. This is where I would double check them. Make sure this is correct. Make sure this is correct. And make sure down here my OSPF is correct, which it is. So I would do a copy, run, start. Save that. And I'm going to move on to the other router and configure it. So I need to move the console cable out of the back of my 2011. And I'm going to move it to the front of the 4221. So the console port on the 4221 is on the front. So I'm back to router, enable, config T. Let's do a host name on this guy. And this we called, let me get my map handy again. 4221 router RTR SN for subnet. Let's do our interfaces. Interface, these are gigabit, so 0/0/0. And I'm going to do this interface first. IP address on this guy, 172.16.32.1. Oops. Helps if I have the last 0 in there. There we go. No shutdown on this guy. Again, if I wait a second, I look at my router over here, I should see that port come online, I should see the switch port come online, and I should see a message pop up that that's coming online. I will now do the interface between the two. So interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1, IP address 172.16.16.2, followed by the subnet mask. No shutdown on this guy. Again, if I give it a second, that'll probably pop up a note saying that is online. And it does. The only thing left to do is my router OSPF config. I need network. Oh, it's actually trying to pull it in because the other router is over there. So network 172.16.0.0.0. Remember, we borrowed to the 16 place, so 15.255. Area 0. We now need the 16.0 subnet. And we need the 32.0 subnet. And we'll say exit. We'll say exit. We're going to do a show run. Oh, I didn't do my enable password, so I'll do that here in just a second. There's my interface. There's my interface. There's my OSPF. I will do config T, and I'll do enable secret class. There we go. And I'll do a copy, run, start on this guy as well. So there is my second router config. Yeah, it's working on it. And at this point, I just want to make sure I have both done, which I do. And I'm going to do some verifying before I move any further. And we'll start there on the next podcast.